IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All-Natural Being. Warning, All-Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome, and thank you for stopping by the 323rd episode of the number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're in to All Natural Being, the gong, heard around the world, broadcast as it happens here on IPMNation.com, and now multicast live on Facebook, YouTube, over at allnaturalbeing.com. The Brian Brawdy app. However you come to hang with us, we're always live from the Outpost. That's going to be changing pretty soon. Not the live part, but the Outpost part. Here in Columbus, Ohio, with rebroadcasts on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, you name it, we're there. Greetings wherever you are, here in the Garden of the Mortals. What a gig, winning or whining. It's up to you and me, because life, it's our labyrinth, our shot at running the table, diving the rabbit hole as we see fit. The hell with your critics. What do they know? Your wild at the core is ready for pay dirt once you own your primal scream. That's why we're always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list, reinstalling and reinstating the true wit and wisdom of your inner whisper, rebooting your robust, finding your ferocious, all in time to out-brutal the brutal that is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis, and to bring your own bold, once and for all, no questions asked. But before we hit it this evening, hello to my friends here in the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, those in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Peru, Poland. For those joining us from all over the globe, it's great, truly, it's great to have you with us, and I'm fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be your biggest fan, to be your virtual hitchhiker if you're out and about, on the go. Either way, I'm always avidly you. But before we jump into tonight's show, let me ask you, why let anyone hijack your cognition? Why let them play your mind like a marionette? The days of needlessly torturing ourselves by being someone else's tool, well, they're over. Once we decide to take life into our own hands, so what are we waiting for? Here's our opportunity to mortal up. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors, and thank you all so very much before I hop here over into the feed. Thank you so very much for everyone that helped me this past weekend. You know, we had our 300 and up to our 322nd episode, all right in a row, here on All Natural Being, the 24-hour marathon, and I can't thank everyone enough. You know, I've been talking about it. Actually, I took a day off. First day I've slept in 10 hours in 2 years. Oh, 2 years. That's why today's a big day. 2 years let me just mention this if I could, just so I can get it out of the way. Get it off my chest, right? A little chip on my shoulder. Let me get it out. 2 years ago today, I listened to my doctor, and he goes, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. You're in perfect health. Why don't you go for an MRI? Take the morning off, relax a little. 90 minutes, you'll love it. And I did. Inside of the MRI tube, it vibrates. They're just great. They're just great. And I was like, oh, man, when I get out of here, mine is the whole radiation thing. I think I'll start, like, you know how companies have tanning booths? I think I'll buy a bunch of these MRI machines. You just get loaded in, right? Like you're in a big drawer, if you will. You get loaded in, the thing just vibrates, right? It's like a vibrating bed. And I'm thinking, man, this is comfortable as all get out. I'm really excited about this. So they're like, yeah, sure, why not? MRI, tomato, oh, the same thing. What do I care? I'm in perfect health. 90 minutes later, I roll out. You know, I think I'd fallen asleep even. It's the vibration and the noise. It's like kind of nodded off. I come out, and the technician is standing there. She's got a phone in her hand. And I'm thinking, I can't even get away for 90 minutes without somebody finding me, without someone calling me. What could be so important that I have to take the call right now? Well, she said, oh, you're going to want to take this call. And I said, chances are pretty good I don't, but okay, I'll humor you. And I'm climbing out of my schmuck, which I should have worn that today. I still have the very outfit that I was wearing when they found this. And so I take the call, and it's my doctor, and he goes, can you come to the office right away? No. So, I got things to do. I got a whole day ahead of me. Well, actually, it's like afternoon, so, it's just like I didn't want to mess with rush hour. And he goes, you got to come here. And I said, well, no. He goes, I need to talk to you. And I go, great. Whatever you need to say to me, say it to me over the phone. And it still didn't click with me. He goes, I've seen the results from the MRI. You have a golf ball-sized brain tumor. You're headed to the hospital. I go, well, in fact, I'm not, right? Because I'm thinking I got a wife, I got kids, I got accountants and attorneys, and everybody else I have to know. So I think I think I called my attorney before I even called my wife, because I was scared to death to tell my wife, tell my kids, everything else. So, of course, as one would, I went home, had a Sierra Nevada, a pale ale. You can't beat that as a pale ale. Had a Sierra Nevada, sat in there, and decided, oh, wow, okay, I'll do this. And so I told my wife, told my kids, called some of my friends, and as one would, right? They're like Lay's potato chips. No one can drink just one. So I had one Sierra Nevada, and I thought, oh, great, this will be, great, peachy. So I opened a second one, and it was in that second one that the hospital then called and said, look, you really got to get here. We got a team, crackerjack team of people waiting for you in the emergency room. So Ashley gets on the phone and talks to them. They go, no. The team's standing by. They're scrubbing. Right? I think they meant scrubbing, not like cleaning bathrooms or something, but they're scrubbing. They're getting ready for Brian. And I said, so she goes, it sounds like you should go. I said, okay, let's go. So we get there. And again, I hadn't seen the picture, and they put me in. I get there right away, and they go, there's not even a wheelchair for you. You're going to lie straight down. And I'm lying down, and they're rolling me down the hallway. And there are jumbotrons everywhere, right? And these jumbotrons have a picture of a human head with like a golf ball, huge white spot in the back. And the doctors and the nurses are all like, they're looking up with their mouths wide open, then looking down at me, looking up, looking down at me, looking up, looking down at me. And so in any event, to belabor the point, 2 years ago today, they're like, yeah, you got a brain tumor. Got to go. Got to come out. I go, great. Can I have a day or two to think about it? No. You have less than a couple of hours to think about it. Get in here. So that is, which is interesting. That's a part of this. And as I said throughout the show this weekend, a part of, because that was right in the middle of the 300. So it was somewhere in there, but it was 2 years ago today was my very first brain surgery. 2 years ago today, they identified the tumor. And I think I had an angioplasty or something like that about this time. And then you stay over and they medicate you and get you all prepped and shaved and everything ready to go. And then the next morning, I'm in for, I think the first surgery was 11 hours. But like 3 weeks later, I finally get out of the Huskow. And, and then the story went on from there. But in event, today is that 2 year anniversary. So for those people that have kind of stayed with me throughout this whole thing, thank you very much for that. And thank you very much for this past weekend, the 24 hours. As you know, I decided, okay, let me see if I can do this thing for 24 hours. And to be honest, I felt great. For everyone that texted me, for everyone that called and asked, I never felt tired. I felt like my voice was going, right? You can imagine that. I felt like my voice was going, but I never felt tired. I felt just dialed in and ready to go. But I will say to you that the ability to pull it off, if you look right here, the ability to pull it off is because some really great people, and I mean really great people, stuck to their call times. Bob and Jenny and Gordon and, for goodness sakes, Henry and Kurt and Stephen and Sherry and Mike and Misty and Matt and Patricia and Lee and Dana, Kelly, Amanda, Jose, Ann, Paul, Sue B, my brother JP, Jamie, steel guitar, heavy metal. Will you ever get over that? I know I'll never get over it. John, everyone who called in, Henry a second time, Lee a second time, that made it possible for me to be able to make it through. The credit really goes to them because all I did was just kept answering the phone. So everyone hit their call time, and I super, super appreciate it. So let me get here quickly in the thread to say hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us. Henry, as always, thank you. Candace, thank you. Tom, Paul, thank you. Jamie, thank you so very much. John, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Rita, who am I seeing? Anybody I'm missing here? Rita, hello, Rita. John, Sarah, thank you very much for everyone that helped through that 24-hour and got us into today. All right, so before we get ready to take a call, which we're going to take here in a minute, I wanted to talk about today's post, and I called it Courageous. Not really, right? So we're going to talk about that here in just a bit. But let's take a call and see who we have. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. So we'll drop that call right away. Man, that didn't sound good at all, did it? What was that all about? All right, caller, please try again. Caller number 2. We don't want number 2. At least not right now. What was that all about? That was some high-class static, wasn't it? All right, thank you. Whoever it was trying to call in to All Natural Being, thank you very much. Please try back again. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Thank you very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. Let's try it again. Good evening. Welcome to All Natural Being. Who's this?
Hey, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you, sir. Did you just try to call a minute ago, Henry?
Yeah, I did.
Oh man, I'm glad with whatever's going on in the phone line. You know, huge storm here today.
Yeah, same here.
Same here. Power went out twice. All the clocks are flashing. I know, and I don't know how to program a VCR to save my life. So now there are people like, I want to watch the show, and I go, wait for your mom. I don't know how to program a VCR. What are you kidding me? Hey, brother, what? Hey, so I was just bragging about you as one of the people that called in twice and hit their call times and knew their material. Right? This 24-hour thing, it was a layup thanks to you guys. I really didn't do much.
We have a great manager.
Yes, I do. I do. But thank you, and thank you for the happy anniversary. I know it's just wild, right?
Well, I figured if anybody could get away with wishing a happy anniversary for a brain tumor, maybe I'll get away with it. So
you always get away with it. There's nothing you could say, my friend. You know how I feel about you. You could go, yeah, Bri, you know what? And you have a hair lip. Yeah, well, there you go. So I got more scars on my face now than Frankenstein. I'm set for most Halloween costumes. I need to get a couple bolts in my neck, and I'm just going to go as me. But yeah, and you know, it's wild, Henry. I think a lot of people were like, oh, how's he going to respond? You know when the big anniversary is? I guess it comes like sometime in April, maybe March, maybe. But the 2 years from the last brain surgery, right? Because I'm like, great, it's been 2 years. I'm healed. And the doctors are all like, oh, no, you're not. You weren't normal before the surgery, but you're not healed. No. You have to wait for 2 years from the last surgery.
No.
So I'm like, are you kidding me? What kind of scam are you running here at the Columbus Cranium Shack? So
you mean there's rules to anniversaries?
Yeah, right. And brain tumors, apparently, and shunts.
I guess.
I'm with you. I don't know. Gotta tell you. Don't know. But I was thanking everybody for joining me over that over the 24 hours. I had a blast, and just again, thank you to you and to everyone that called in, because it kept me up and going and on the ball, and I super appreciate it. So what have you been up to? I see all kinds of cool posts over on Facebook, and I put up today, reading is RX, right, as a prescription. Because when you read the stuff that you wrote, you go, man, I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? It's just like taking penicillin,
Thank you.
I guess. I don't know what, right? Like Neosporin if you got a cut. You know, I don't take painkillers. Well, believe me, at times I wish I did, but I don't take painkillers. But you get what I'm saying. It's a perfect prescription. You read some of the stuff that you've written, and I'm going, now here we go. If people will take the time to reflect on what you've written, I think it only helps them.
Well, that's what the intention is, and that's what the reason I do it is.
Oh, you don't do it for all the millions?
Something that
you don't do it for all the millions? No. All the notoriety?
No.
Paparazzi?
No. I do it because I think it's necessary, and I think
Okay.
people need to hear it. And
Right.
whether they like to hear it or not, or whether they like to admit it or not, it's still stuff that they need to learn and understand and hear. And we're only going to get better for it if we do start relating to what's being written. It's something that you don't want to wait another couple of thousand years for somebody to finally read and say, "Hey, that's not a bad story."
Right.
It's something I really want to see people really utilize now and do whatever we can to pull this society together. I mean, I pray for the day that we don't have this separation and split the way we have it from every divide and every direction. And it's really sad. I mean, I actually down in Ecuador is really kind of fun because I don't really watch television. I don't watch the news.
God love you.
And here you're sort of inundated with it. If you put the TV on at all, you're really swamped by it. Well, of course, I got swamped by the congressional investigation or the congressional hearings going on for Kavanaugh to be put on the Supreme Court. Well, and I'm sitting here listening. Wow. Amazing how divided we are as a country.
Yeah.
And divided we are as a people.
Sure.
And my God, we're all brothers and sisters.
Right.
I don't get it. I just don't understand why we are that way. It stymies me. It really does stymie me.
Well, I have an answer for you. Do you want my answer?
Sure.
It's from what I've read of your reading, or of what I've read from your reading. It's what I've read from your writing in the past, and I wanted to, I'll just throw this out. I had to because the TV was on and I happened to walk into a room and I just love this. And my good friend Sue was on. So I should just say in advance that the views expressed by Brian here about to come up are not necessarily the views of anybody else watching. Right? Because I can just feel it coming. But today I happened to see, and that's why I put up on the Facebook post that this courageous, a U.S. Senator Cory Booker decides, I think he even stole my term, and he said, bring it. I'll be expelled from the Senate, but damn it, I'm going to leak these 4 memos. If it costs me my job, come what may, I'm going to leak these memos. Well, Mr. Tough Guy didn't bother to tell everyone he had gotten clearance to release the memos a while ago. Right? And he didn't tell you that he had negotiated with Mike Lee saying, oh, yeah, they're yours. It's been cleared. Go ahead. So he draws this correlation to being Spartacus. Spartacus, if you've seen Cory Booker, he's not Spartacus, right? So then you go, oh, yeah, great. Well, I'm going to fall on my sword, but heck with the rules of the Senate, whatever they are, right? Whatever. I'm going to go ahead and release these. And I don't mind. I don't think there should be any classified information. I mean, unless, like what are the codes to the football? What are we going to do here? Maybe there's a few things that you could consider to be classified. But all this stuff that this is classified. This is redacted. This is redacted. So I applaud him for that effort. But to mislead everyone, you talk about ego. And you said earlier, starting off, you go, oh, well, I hope there's a cure for us. I don't think there is a cure. I think it's going to reach a tipping point. When you get people that know they're allowed to release these 4 memos, bombshells as they were. They weren't even bottle rockets. I've seen firecrackers go off. I've seen those snappets that you throw down on the ground that give off more of a bang than these 4 alleged inappropriate emails to be passing out. And he references the fact that, like Spartacus. It
doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense. It's here's a guy who's overrun by ego. So when everyone's busy lining up going, oh, no, there are public servants. No, I'm not buying it anymore. You just talk about ego on display.
Exactly.
All you have to do is look at that confirmation hearing and you go, that's what we're coming to. And there's like a half a dozen people in that confirmation hearing today that have already pretty much tipped their hat that they're going to run for president. That's the best we can do. People that will mislead you, people that be disingenuous and say, oh, I'm releasing memos. I'm going to fall on my sword. If they expel me from the Senate, it's a small price to pay. When you knew you were allowed to release the memos.
exactly. There was going to be no ramifications. Well, it's very safe. I always laughed when people would say they're going to go gamble, and it was an absolute sure thing that they were going to win. People that sit down and create a comment or an argument when they know they're going to win the argument. To me, that's ludicrous and absolutely ridiculously wrong. Because the people that suffer is us.
Sure.
We're the ones that suffer from all of this. I mean, look at the tax dollars being spent on this hearing.
Yep.
I mean, you just shake your head at the amount of waste that's been going on. I remember and I don't remember who it was that came down to Ecuador. But there was the vice president came down and several senators came down, I think several Congress people, at the expense of y'all.
Sure. Our pleasure. Because they're lifelong public servants doing God's work for the country. No, don't worry, we don't mind.
Well, and it's really kind of funny when you look at the presidency, you look at the, you look at these positions, all of these political positions, literally are classified as temporary government employees, and somehow they were able to take the temporary out of it and make it a permanent career.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, listen, somebody's got to do the work when you're getting a Cadillac insurance plans, right? Lifelong, whatever, health insurance that none of the rest of us are subject to, right? You got to be something.
For it, though.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, we're paid for it, all right. Hey, I'm Candace and to Jamie, and people are going, Brian, why are you air guitaring a sledgehammer? That would be a great question. And if you didn't watch the show this weekend, then you wouldn't know that one of the things that Jamie and Candace in wee hours of the morning had asked me to do was play. Jamie says Costa Rica is looking better every day. Jamie and Candace run in like, oh, can you play air guitar, Henry, right? So I'm thinking, I can't play air guitar, but I got a sledgehammer that could double. And Joseph Haggerty was on wee hours of the morning. And guess what he called when I was playing the air guitar like this? Take a guess. Funniest thing. He called it, Brian must be playing heavy metal.
Oh, I love it.
From a heavy sledgehammer. So that's for Jamie and Candace, a little subliminal messaging. If everyone else is wondering, why is this nut air guitaring the handle to a sledgehammer? Jamie and Candace, and if no one else, heavy metal. I thought that was hysterical. My neighbor came over one time. You know her. My neighbor, I better not say her name because she doesn't want me to out her, but she came over one time and the fence that was falling, a part of it had rotted and the storm came and one of the things were over and she came over and she says, Brian, can I talk to you? And I go, yeah. She goes, look at the fence. And I go, I know, pretty bad storm. She goes, I just wanted to let you know I find it offensive. Exactly. And I laughed and I said, that's the funniest one-liner. Thank you for all the guitars, Henry. I knew I could count on you. That's the funniest one-liner. I find it, the condition of your fence, I find it offensive. I thought that was hysterical until Joseph Haggerty. And if I remember, Jamie, Candace, correct me if I'm wrong. I couldn't stop laughing, Candace. I'm with you. I think he was from Colorado Springs. And when he said heavy metal, and now I had been up for 20-some hours probably, or maybe more, Henry, at that point. But to me, it was like offensive. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm with you, Candace and Jamie. So thank you very much. It was karaoke. And you think to yourself, Brian, karaoke, really? Well, here's the thing. I learned from Jamie that a lot of people that have a fear of speaking in public or singing in public, they'll get up and they'll do karaoke. And it gives them kind of their own permission, Henry, to be braver and stronger, right? Little more of rebarb for a backbone than paper mache or balsa wood, right? But it gives them permission to go out and try other things that they may not have normally done. So like I was, in an instant, I was a big fan of this sense of karaoke, although I'm a horrible singer. And let me tell you something else. I thought, for all the people listening from Ohio, Henry, I thought it was Hang On Snoopy. Now, I guess the song is Hang On Sloopy, which you would know.
Yeah.
Sloopy. I thought it was about Snoopy fighting the Red Baron. Sitting on top of his doghouse, and he does like a roll, couple, 5, 6 G's, and they're going, hang on, Snoopy, hang on, Snoopy. Has nothing to do with the Charles Schultz cartoon character. I didn't know that. Yeah, did you know that? So they had me doing Ohio. And, for me, the acronym for Ohio is, oh, how I'm out of here. But, right, I'm doing my sentence like I said I would. I'm just kidding. Great people live here. Just not me, right? So in any event, that was what the air guitar was for. So I'll take a little bit of a sidetrack there, Henry. But here's the thing. You're absolutely right, and you hope that we can get to the point where everyone stops grandstanding, everyone stops running for president, everyone tries to act like they're the smartest person in the room when clearly this clown knew that the memos had already been released and decided to be, this is my Spartacus moment. Whatever. And they're going to put him up to run for president. It's going to be the greatest time to be alive is right now. But that's why I worry about ego, because it's running so unchecked in the people that we elect. And they go, well, you know what's at stake here is the decorum of the Senate. The decorum of the Senate. You've watched what's gone on in that Senate for the last year? Decorum. It's a house full of egos. And that shows you what happens at the macro level when egos run unchecked. But what I loved about your pieces today was that also shows what happens when your ego runs unchecked at the micro level. Does it not?
That's right. Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing. And what's so ridiculous about it is we're in control. We can be in control of our ego. We don't have to sit down and bandstand it or go crazy with it or join the majority that want to get out there and show off.
Sure.
We can be who we are, and that's whether you're playing, a heavy metal air guitar or an air hammer. I love that.
An air hammer. Air hammer? Hey, I'm nothing but props. I mean, if it weren't for props, this show wouldn't be much. And the Spartacus moment. Now, I know this is a little more samurai sword, but Spartacus, I think he had a sword. Didn't he run around with a sword? Spartacus?
Yes,
I think so. Maybe not one like, okay, I got all the props. What else can you think of? Anything else?
It'll come to me. We'll get some more.
I'm sure it will, brother. It may not come to me, but I know it will come to you. All right, so that's what I was worried about today when I put that post up, is that these are the ones that they're supposedly that we're going to pick. Where's the chimp? I know, Jamie Wright. I think he's already in bed. My son, Jamie said the other night, just so you know, Henry, that one of the things that in terms of all the props, did I have a pet monkey? And my son came down one time, Blyden, one of my sons came down, and he had his stuffed monkey. So that was the thing when she says, where's the monkey? Got to get a monkey. I know he came down remember when he came down to say goodnight and he had his stuffed animal. So that's what they're referencing there. But
I love it.
Back on track. The scary thing is that this is the pool of people we're allegedly going to be choosing to be the politicians, the presidents, the senators, this and that. Who does that? Who says, I'm going to fall on the sword, come what may? Because in the moment when that happened, I was like, Cory Booker, I'm in. That takes some backbone. Good for you, right? Shouldn't be classified. American people, you work for us. I ought to be able to get you to show me anything I want.
Right.
And then, not 5 minutes later, whoa, Spartacus, hold on. We gave you permission to release those at like 4:30 this morning.
Yeah. Well, it's very safe to fall on a sword when the sword's not there.
Right. Or a butter knife.
Or a butter knife.
Or a butter knife, yeah. A plastic one from McDonald's.
And that's the part I wish people would start to understand. They think that everything is done so pomp and circumstance and so official and so political that we think that it's real and that it means something.
Right.
And in fact, as you can perfectly see with any of these things, it's all an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
It's all fake, and it doesn't matter. That's the main point of it all. It doesn't matter if you have control over yourself. That matters.
Mm-hmm.
What goes on outside of your life doesn't matter anymore. It's almost insane. So I just wish people would start to wake up and read a bit and learn a little bit more about themselves and how do we get control of it. It's almost I don't know. In Ecuador, our election, the actual campaigning is 6 weeks. 6 weeks. They have a start date that they campaign, and they have to quit before the election, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's about 2 weeks before the election, you quit. There's no more campaigning, and then the people go and vote. And 100% of the people vote. That's the other part of it. And so we have here where you campaign for about 3.5 years. Well, actually, they're campaigning already. I mean, think about it. The presidential election is not for 2 more years, at minimum 2.5 years, and they're already campaigning. It's insane. I don't understand what's happened to the country. I really don't get it. It bothers me a lot to see this happen. But we, as the people, which we have forgotten, do have control over that. We simply have to take control of our egos, and we have to get them understanding what's guiding us and what's really directing us, and then discern what those are, and then really put ourselves into making the decisions that we make rather than our ego.
Well, and you get to the point, Henry, where you also go, okay, great, is now the stage in your life where you're going to regain your natural enlightenment? Or is it the stage in life where you're going to run around in knickers that are 11 sizes too small for you? Right? Or you're going to run around with an outdated ego whose expiration date was years ago, right? Just like I've said before, me riding a bicycle with training wheels or heading over to the pool with a rubber ducky, water wings, you know what I mean, floaties at my age. Sooner or later, you're going to have to jettison, as we talked about last week, you jettison that ego. And what I loved about today, and normally you can't find theater like today in this confirmation hearing. You can't find theater like that unless you watch a White House press briefing.
Right.
Well, I'm telling you, if you're near a TV in the afternoons, you have got to tune in to a White House press briefing. It's just the best time on TV. It's just the best time on TV.
Talk about a comedy act. I mean, and you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I guess they can. I guess they make it all up, but it's just too unbelievable to really make up. We couldn't write this stuff. I mean, we both can write, but neither one of us could write this stuff to make it as funny as it is.
Right. You, me, Lee, Sue, Rita, put everyone in it. We couldn't write this. Who would have thunk that on national TV a guy will claim himself to be Spartacus when he knew he was allowed to do it? No. Maybe he didn't get the call at 4 a.m. Maybe he didn't check his voicemails for 5 hours. Maybe when he gets over there to the rotunda, no one bothered to tell him, oh, yeah, remember those memos we talked about last night? They're all good. Maybe. Nobody on his staff bothered to tell him? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Spartacus isn't as dialed in as he wants everyone to think he is. Maybe. It's just amazing to me. And these are the public servants. These are the people that we're supposed to esteem. These are the people that make the rules, right? These are the people that make the laws. All this. And I've never seen, even when they're opening speeches that are questions, it'll be 20 minutes of telling you where they went to school, how long they've studied. This one guy from the other side, it's a prosecutor that said he was in Vietnam when he wasn't. I can't even remember his name, right? It's just, you can't write this stuff. Well, I've been a public prosecutor for right before I became a senator. I was a public prosecutor. I don't care, Needle Nits. You're an idiot. I can't get it. So, and the only reason that I was going to focus on this at all tonight was that I thought about what you had written earlier in the day, and I realized that, and then you look at it and go, this is what happens when egos run unchecked. And you got all these people grandstanding, all these people want to be the next president of the United States. If you and I had a friend that said, I'd like to be the most powerful man or the most powerful woman in the world, we wouldn't hang out with them. We wouldn't go to cocktail parties with them. Wouldn't want to spend any time with them. But here you got a whole group of people going, I want to be president. Why? So you can lie about being Spartacus again?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost a God complex. I
believe so.
I think they place themselves in the category of being a god. Gods for us, and we're supposed to be bending down and worshiping these people.
I genuflect whenever I can.
Well, it makes me sick to my stomach.
I'm with you.
This is really what goes on, and they expect that of us.
Yep.
Well, I mean, some of the movies where they portrayed, I think the one was The Shooter. I think it was with
Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
Yeah, good flick.
And here's the senator.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
You know who I am. It's like I give a rat's.
Yeah, I'm
tail
with you.
for who
Yeah, you
you
can
are,
say
right?
tookus. You can say tookus. We're allowed to cuss on air. You can say tookus. Right?
And so yeah, I think that's what it's all about. We have given them permission to treat us like the puny gods.
Yes.
You know,
Sure.
That the Hulk treats Loki with.
Sure.
You know, the puny god.
Yeah.
They treat us like the puny things when they are the worship gods that we are supposed to worship and bend to. And Jennifer, like, well, I'm sorry, we better wake up.
I'm with
better
you.
wake up, because that's what we're going to have.
And then I think, Henry, that's why when you say you still hold out hope, as do I just think there's a little more of a tipping point coming. We talk about hotheads wrapped in thin skin. In terms of the civility, another great time that I had in that 24 hours was my good friend Patricia Costello calling in, and Patricia, and I we don't agree on a lot of things in terms of politics and some other things, but we get along great because of our respect for each other, respect for opinions on the other side of the aisle or spectrum or other side of the fulcrum, whatever you want to call it. And it's just a blast to hang with her because friends of hers and friends of mine go, how can you guys be friends? And to Patricia's credit, she's like, I don't know if you know Brian, how could I not be friends with him? And I feel the same way about her. I've said about Patricia, you're welcome to call her a snowflake, but she is a unique individual in that she can go from snowflake to avalanche in under 5 seconds.
And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Yeah. To me, that's what it's all about, Brian, because, I mean, number one, the three topics that we're supposed to not talk about. We've been taught this our whole lives. We're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, and sex. The three biggest problems we have in this world today is religion, politics, and sex. The three things we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, I didn't get that memo.
Why we can't talk about it? Well, because we're always told, because we never will agree.
It's taboo.
That's not us.
That's taboo, right?
Ego that's fighting all of this. And people have to learn to understand this is their ego fighting, not them. And yes, we can talk about these subjects. We can totally disagree and have a civil conversation. It's when we can't do that, which is the direction we're going.
Sure.
That's when we have absolute out-of-control problems and out-of-control ego.
Let me say hello quickly to Denise. Denise, thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Candace, I think I said hello earlier. Susan, Donald definitely thinks he's God. Can you say delusional? Here's the thing, Susan, and only because I brought it up with Patricia. And people say, oh, well, the current president, President Trump, he's delusional. So was President Obama. So was President Bush. So was President Clinton before him. Think about it. Think about some of the things these people pulled as president. In order to be president, you have to be nuts. You have to be delusional.
Yeah, I don't see how you can be rational and want that job.
Right, I'm with you.
It's a power-hungry job.
Yes, right.
I mean, that's all it is. And literally, the only way you can develop that kind of power is stop using deodorant for about a year and a half,
Yeah.
I mean, that's powerful.
That is.
And I think that's really what happens. I think they get so surrounded in their own stink that they think that this is what power is all about. And it is crazy. I'll tell you what, make the position non-pay, non-benefit, non-security.
Yeah, no Secret Service,
non-health insurance, no Secret Service. I guarantee nobody would take that job.
Right.
But the potential that's there, that's why they do it. It's all ego. It's totally ego-based. I can't imagine somebody wanting that job.
I joked the other day, and I think maybe it was with Shane a couple weeks back, or maybe it was in the 24 hours, said, I'll dig the idea of president when it's a lottery system. And one day the phone rings, Rita picks it up and says, hello. And they go, is this Rita? And they say, in the voice, and she says, yes. And they go, hi, Rita. Where was Secret Service? And she's like, oh, what can I do for you? Well, there was a lottery and your name was picked. You're now president of the United States for the next 4 years. Then you'll get people of merit in. We can do a better job with a lottery system. If the people you saw parading around today at this Senate subcommittee, if they're the best that we can pick from, if the people that we have there now are the very best that we can pick, The very best that we can pick. We need to find someone else to pick. I think if it's a lottery system and you go, Henry, sorry, you responded to our questionnaire. You're now president for the next 4 years. Then you'll get people in America because you're like, man, I got all this work to do. What am I going to do? But for the people that say, I want Secret Service, I want Air Force One, Marine One, I want the White House, I want the titled powerful man in the world, I want the football, I want the this and that. Just look at all the strife in the world. And I don't care what political party you belong to. Look at the strife. If Putin weren't a nut, if Kim Jong-un weren't a nut, right? If Xi weren't a nut, just voted himself in for like life, look at the people that have their finger on nuclear weapons.
Yep.
That'll be whisked away to bomb shelters, so they'll live for another 2 or 3 years after the big event. You and me, not so much so.
Right.
But look at all of the threat in the world. And it comes from the people that we elect because they're supposedly smarter, because they're supposedly their finger is more on the pulse of what a nation or a country needs. Look at the rulers of the world now. What is it, Duarte? Look at the guy in Rio de Janeiro. Just look around at some of the greatest flashpoints, some of the most precarious tipping points in the world. Is because they've elected nuts as their president, as their supreme leader, as whatever you want to call it. So I understand Susan's point. I really do. And when she says, oh, what do you think about this? Thank you, Susan, very much. I understand her point about, he's delusional. Well, I just look at any of them. Just look at any of them. And we're in trouble.
Somewhere along
we're in trouble.
Yeah, we are. I mean, look at Maduro in Venezuela. I mean, it absolutely got elected, and he's taken that country down a road they can never recover from.
Sure.
Cristina from Argentina took their country, and it is going to teeter too.
Sure.
It's just got no choice.
Sure.
Chile will follow shortly behind it, and you look at these countries. No, they don't have any nuclear weapons, but the bottom line is the people are still suffering.
Sure.
And they're the ones that put them in office.
Sure.
So if we don't question, and that's why I keep harping on the fact that we have to begin questioning. If we are going to get some straight answers, get some truths, we have to ask why.
Right.
And never stop asking the question why until you get satisfied. I'm a Republican, so therefore Trump is my God, or I'm a liberal or a Democrat, and therefore Clinton was my God.
Sure.
I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. I mean, we have a bunch of sheep out there following because they have a title of some party affiliation, and this is what's running our country, and the people are allowing this to happen. I mean, I have never seen so many people living in a fog thinking it's fresh air. I haven't figured it out.
And I want to make a point, if I can interrupt for just a second, because Candace says here in the thread, I support our POTUS. And I think, Candace, I wasn't even referencing not supporting POTUS, not supporting the person that people elected. I was just saying if you're going to call one delusional, then they're all delusional. You got to be delusional to want the job. And I think what starts to my blood to boil is when people say, oh, well, it's public service, public service, public service. I don't think so. That's why I've come up with the term public servant, public siphon. Now, you got to give it to President Trump. And what I think I found fascinating about him in the very beginning is he's not a career politician. So it doesn't surprise me that everyone in D.C. is gunning for him because he doesn't play by what the established political, the political class wants him to do it a certain way, and he's just not going to do it. So I kind of dig that. It's not so much a regular guy as a billionaire. That's why I say it'd be nice one time if Candace was the one that got the phone call and they said, Candace, now you're going to be the president of the United States. Let me say hello to Sheila Adamson. Sheila, thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. Hope all is well. Susan says, I don't remember politics being like this growing up in my parents' time. I don't remember that either, Susan, but I will tell you, when you said that, my mind is ridden with amnesia as it is. My mind went back to being a little kid, and I remember in school, Nixon, he's our man. Humphrey belongs in the garbage can.
Yeah.
So maybe, Susan, maybe it's not as bad now, but I remember my mom saying, Republican born, Republican bred, I'll be a Republican till I'm dead.
Yeah.
So I think this sense of division has been around for a while. And maybe, to Susan's point, maybe it's just now there's 24-hour primetime news.
Yes.
Maybe that's what it is. But and I've never wanted this show to be about politics. So we're not even talking about politics tonight. We're basically saying, look at what happens on camera in front of all the world to see when an ego runs unchecked and will say, I am Spartacus.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing that we do that. I mean, I remember it was vote for Nixon, get a Humphrey, or whatever the case may be.
I didn't know that till now, but I will. I'll repeat that in the future.
But I remember growing up, and I remember when Kennedy was elected, and all of a sudden they referred to it as Camelot.
Camelot, right?
And I went, oh man! And I'm a kid at that point, and I'm going, we're in trouble because now they're pushing this off as royalty. Now it's a royal family. We're going to have kings here pretty soon.
I'm with you,
and that scared me. But I think that's really where the turning point for me was it didn't matter anymore.
Sure.
I mean, you had Eisenhower going out and telling you about the military-industrial complex and warning us about that on his exit speech.
Yes, he did.
And then you had Camelot coming in to the power.
Sure.
And the royalty. This was America's royal family. That's how they were referred to. Wow, that was frightening because I think that set the stage after Ike's speech that really laid down the direction that the country was going to go. And my God, it has done that. It's exactly what it's done. And we have nothing but a bunch of wannabe royalty that want to be totally worshipped and taken care of. They're little mini gods. Yep. And we fall for this.
Well, it's one of the reasons I get in trouble, Henry, all the time when they say, "Oh, can you believe someone didn't curtsy to the Queen?" 8 times out of 10, I might not stop to help the Queen if she were stuck alongside of the road with a flat tire. Now, I know that's not true because I stop and help everybody with flat tires. But you get my point. They go, "Oh, well, it's royalty. You have to bow to the Queen." No. You don't have to bow to anybody.
That's right.
Candace says, I wouldn't want the job. Look how his family is suffering. I will say this, Candace, when you look at President Trump's family and what they've gone through, I remember early on, I think his daughter's name is Ivanka. She was on a flight with her kids, if I remember, and she was flying coach, which is a lesson as to why you shouldn't fly coach. But in any event, she was flying coach, and 2 guys started verbally berating her in front of her kids. I couldn't agree more with that part of it, Candace, that people's families should just be left out of it. And I say it all the time. And as you know, Henry, especially some of the opinions that I've had and some of the things that I've done before in life as an ex-cop and this and that, you want to come after me? Come after me. Well, I'm great. I'm up for the debate. But leave my family and my friends and the people that I care about out of it. Because if you really want to taunt me, I can't figure out why someone would want me as an enemy. So just leave my family, leave my friends, right? If you want to attack me, attack me.
Yes.
But leave the people around me out of it, and that's not the case anymore. If you look, as Candace says, it's awful what they're doing to his family. I would agree, but I'd be saying the same thing of anyone's family, right? You want to go after the politician, go after the politician, but leave the family out of it.
Well, that's it, but that's ego unchecked.
Yep, I would agree.
That's ego of other people trying to make their point across when it's not their point. It's ego's point that they're trying to make. They're angry, they're frustrated, they're hurt. They don't understand that it's their ego that's driving them to do this stuff. And that's why I really, like you said, I wish people would read more of it because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the point to where people can discern their ego from themselves.
John calls it programming. So I think what you're saying, Henry, is you just want to try to dilute the programming, loosen the grip of the programming, right? Unchain, unleash, erase the hard drive, the malware, right?
That's right.
The malware of your mind is the belief that you're not special enough. The malware of your mind has you believe that someone else needs to be an authority figure above you. and that you're supposed to genuflect. The malware of your mind says, well, you'll never be happy. The malware of your mind says, you don't deserve to be fulfilled. The malware of your mind has you convinced that you're not special. It's all malware.
That's all malware.
And that's what I loved about what you wrote today was that, look, because at a certain time, you know who I blame for the malware in my life?
Well, you didn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you know who you're right. I blame me.
Yes. Exactly.
Malware doesn't, you have to invite malware in. It's not like on a computer where you go, oh, I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, Kelly. And thank you, Kelly. Let me say to Kelly, I still have these. I don't know. Henry, Kelly, the other evening was on.
Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
How are
She brought
you?
some tea, so we were talking about our segment. So I still have I haven't gotten rid of them. Good evening, Kelly, to you as well. Still have the teeth. Yeah, her smile's even a lot prettier than that. Her smile's a lot brighter than that. Her smile just lights up the room. It was Kelly, thank you again for being a guest in studio. Good evening. It was a blast to have you here. But I'm with you, Henry. I'm responsible for the malware. It's not like, computer, someone got in overnight. I downloaded Netflix and something. It's not like that at all. You have to invite the malware in. You have to decide to let that in. You have to accept it in.
Exactly.
Where's my can of spray paint? Right. Remember we talked about this. Well, I'm going to knock at your front door. And you answer the door. And I go, I've got an extra can of spray paint. Would you mind if I came in and covered the dog, covered some of the throw pillow? Your cabinets. Would you mind if I spray painted some graffiti on your refrigerator door? What would you say to me?
Exactly. And we do it all the time.
We do it all the time. You wouldn't let me in your house, spray paint your new shower curtains. Oh, is that a duvet? I can put some graffiti all over that. You'd never let me in. You'd go, whew, deadbolt. But we'll let people in with their opinions of how they think we should run our lives. Yes, we'll let them in to spray paint our gray matter with their graffiti. Mm-hmm. I am Spartacus.
And it's been done for so long, we don't even realize it's been done.
Right.
And that's the most frightening part of it, is because, one, it's getting people to wake up to the fact that this has been done to us.
Yeah.
It's already done. Now we have to undo it.
Undo it, right?
And in order to undo it, you have to admit you have it.
Yes.
And that is the biggest hurdle we have, is because people they don't believe they have an ego.
Sure.
And if they do believe they have an ego, they think they need it. And there's the two big fallacies that we have been taught and programmed. Thank you, John.
It's programmed, exactly.
That's what we have to undo.
And all I was thinking about today was that you're already special enough. Everything you've ever needed, you've always had. You're already special. You're already dialed in enough. Once we get rid of the malware, once we get rid of the mashugana, once we get rid of the binge thinking. My good friend Lee had put up a post that, he was saying sometimes, he's just, he was talking about how his inner voice gets the better of him and he says some things to people that are being rude to him. And he felt a little down about it. And I said, look, there are times where compassion, in order to be compassion, has to have teeth. So if you get, I was over the other day at Home Depot and was coming through the parking lot and I slowed at the stop sign. And there was an elderly couple, easily 85 years old, easily. So as I roll up to the stop sign, I see them a few feet away from the crosswalk, and I sit there and I go, "Oh, please!" And I motion to the husband, "Please go right ahead." And they could smile. It was going to take a minute to get across the crosswalk. You could see that. Well, somebody in a Range Rover behind me is laying on the horn.
Oh man!
Goes around me. Separates the woman from her husband, drives right through the crosswalk, just misses the husband, and shoots out down the street.
Wow.
Out and takes a right-hand turn. So I wait for the husband. I look. The old woman's like shaking. She's so nervous. So I went, caught up to the car, took the picture, sent it to the police.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean? But you look at these people, you go, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So, yeah, your life sucks because you're driving a brand new Range Rover. Life's just been a bitch for you. I can imagine. I don't know how you get through the day. I don't know. It's a tough life you must have.
Oh,
and then you blow through you can't wait a minute to let an elderly couple across the walk and you got to blow through them and almost hit one of them and then take off like you're something special. The ego is running amok in people. It's just the problem is we have to be out and about in the world with that ego running unchecked. Yes,
and actually survive.
Yep.
And so you're right. I mean, it's. I remember I was following Shane to Toastmasters meeting that he had. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and so we're heading over to his employer, his job, and where they hold a meeting. And so we're in traffic. I mean, it's just bumper to bumper. And there was a pickup truck. No, it wasn't. It was a Jeep, a Wrangler. And he decided he was in the left lane. He wanted to make a right-hand turn at a fast food restaurant in order to get something or whatever the case may be.
Oh, it is fast food.
He goes, he of course turns the wheel to the left because he's going to make a right. He bounces off the curb.
Ooh.
And I left room enough for him to come through, but he almost took Shane's back end off and bounced off the right curb because it wasn't quite at the driveway yet. Came back into the lane and then made the right turn to pull into the fast food place to get whatever he was going to get.
Sure.
And I almost stopped to ask him to please, is everything okay? I mean, wow, you know, you're about to kill somebody here.
Right.
And it was just, why? Ego. Desperation. Ego.
Road rage.
We have to
Ego.
do this. And so we just go. And it was just absolutely amazing. You're right. It's really so prevalent throughout the world and around here, of course, but around the world. And that's what's running the world. When you look at it, it's just unbridled ego, declaring policy, teaching dogma, unbridled ego, controlling every aspect of our lives. And it is just almost, it's just ridiculous. I think it's sad. We just don't think enough of ourselves to do something about it.
That is exactly the point. You nailed it. We just don't think about ourselves. We don't think enough about ourselves. So in that vacuum of not thinking enough about yourself, ego goes, oh, don't worry, I'll take over. I'm here. Don't worry. Right? So you become inflated with this false sense, but you're absolutely right. It's because we don't think enough about ourselves. But I think you're already pretty special. That's why we have that one website, Avidly You. That's why I say all the time that I'm your biggest fan. I love riding shotgun. I love being your virtual hitchhiker. The real you, not the Meshuggah you, the you that we can all fall back on, but the real you, the all-natural you, the primal scream you. And I'll mention it only for a second because I kind of teased it a little bit, and we're not ready to do it today. Probably, I would think. As Susan says, self-respect, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're not ready to do it today, but Henry, why don't you go ahead? Oh, you know what? I think I have a drum roll. Hold on. Wait, I know how to work this stuff. Hold on. You ready?
What am I doing? Here's my air guitar.
There you go. Yeah, there's your air guitar. Hold on. I'll play the drum roll, and I'll get it in case anyone's still here. Hold on. Let's go. We got a big announcement to make, don't we? No? Okay. No, I guess not. There you go. I need to end that with like a cymbal being hit, right? That's just 14 seconds of drum roll, right? So we have an announcement we want to make here in the closing minutes. Not that it's going to happen right now today, but what's our big announcement?
Well, the big announcement is Transitional Radio is it's coming live.
It's coming alive.
It's actually we're actually getting ready to set it up and to launch it as a customer of Antius Universal. We are setting up the Transitional Radio to be the outlet for the broadcasts that we are doing, mine and yours, and hopefully yours, mine, and ours, actually, if we can get to it. And we are going to try to put this together really quick. I mean, my brother's been knocking himself out, Wayne. I love you to death, Wayne. If you're still on the feed, thank you, bro. Really do appreciate all your effort. But that's we're looking to go with it pretty quickly here.
And in case you missed it and all that, All Natural Being will become the next new show on Transitional Radio. We are going to take Mortal Up Radio. And here, John, let me hit the gong. do love that sound. I got to tell you. It always reminds me of Mortal Kombat, right? Like I want to snap kick something as soon as I hear it. But here's the thing. We're going to move All Natural Being now is going to move to Transitional Radio. It's going to be the anchor, one of the anchors of the new Transitional Radio that Matt Connerton and Henry Noel and most certainly Wayne Noel are busy setting up. So we're going to be heading over. You'll still be able to get All Natural Being. Same address. You'll still go ipmnation.com/ANB now, but its new home on the platform will be Transitional Radio. So I'm very... Susan says, Brian, never experienced live radio. Thanks for a great time. Susan, thank you very much. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here, and we hope you stop back. So that's our big announcement.
Doug.
All Natural Being will be moving to Transitional Radio. Henry's going to have his show, and they're working on getting that together, in addition to everything he does at SoundCloud and everything else. So pretty soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll make the announcement. And then, Matt will record. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a recording studio in Ecuador. There's going to be a recording studio in Columbus, Ohio. So it really will be an international recording studio. So we will be doing that here before too long. So that's why I made mention of the fact it may not be called the Outpost a whole lot longer. Henry?
Absolutely. I'm so looking forward to it. I really am. I couldn't have teamed up with a better person. So, Brian, you are just amazing, absolutely amazing. Whether you like to admit it or not,
it's just a shunt talking.
Yeah, that's just the shunt talking. Wait a minute, I don't have a shunt.
No, I do. More times than not.
Oh,
right?
you do.
Yeah,
you
like
do.
I said, during the 24 hours, if you see something technically astute and you go, man, that was sharp, you give Wayne Noel that credit.
You give Wayne the credit.
You give Wayne the credit. Because more times than not, when they go, did you just say that? Yeah, that was the shunt talking. I don't think, who knows. But it really is an honor, and I can't wait to be at Transitional Radio. And I know that we're going to be inviting other people in. And again, still on the IPM Nation platform. So all of the cool things that you've come to expect, but we'll be heading over. And everything that we do on SoundCloud and Spotify and iHeartRadio and iTunes, all the rest of that is still going to be on the platform. But now it will be named, Mortal Up's going away, and Transitional Radio will be the home to All Natural Being. It'll be the home to Henry's show. It'll be the home to a joint show that Henry and I will do. And it will also be the home to other people that Henry is going to welcome that have this, I guess you would say, have a similar concept that the world is in transition. We can be in transition. And it's the transition from maybe growing up a little older than we needed to do with an ego that's outdated, and the transition into the life that awaits us when we remember who we ultimately are. So the honor is mine, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to make the jump and to be a Transitional Radio. So thank you very much for having me.
Well, we're loving it. We're absolutely loving it. Are you kidding me? And I know we're running over, and I don't want to violate any of your rules or whatever.
Because you're going to be the boss soon. You realize that. Once you're a Transitional Radio, you're going to be like, hey, man, it's 59 past the hour. Let's go. Get my shunt Monday. There you go, Susan.
I don't think so.
Get my shunt Monday. They'd be like, hey, Brian, someone cut him off. Cut him off. Cut him off. Go to commercial. Yeah, I almost did Deliverance the other night because it was early in the morning, right? Heavy metal, Joseph Haggerty. What a writer.
I love it.
We'll have to get him.
He's got his air hammer. I love it.
He got his air hammer. Yes, John says transition to better. Absolutely. All right, brother. So final thoughts before we head off?
Again, thanks, everybody. I really appreciate all the support and all the help and
sure.
and all the suggestions. You guys have been fabulous, and I hope you just continue with us along and kidnap whoever you can and have them listen in with you. We really do appreciate it. And thanks a bunch. And Brian, thanks. Wayne, John, Sue,
everybody.
And my cousin, Kelly, absolutely fabulous to see you all. Candace, as always, Patricia, thank you so much. We really do enjoy it, and thanks for the support.
All right, brother, we'll let you run, and then we're going to get out of here. Good night. As always, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, man.
All right, Henry. Thanks, man. All right, that's it for us here at All Natural Being. About a week or so left, and then, Jamie, you are welcome. Good night to you as well. But another week here, and then we'll transition Yeah, I'm a wordsmith, aren't I? I need Lee to write this stuff for me. We'll transition over to Transitional Radio. All kinds of cool things are going to happen when that goes down. So it really is. Thank both of you. John, thank you very much. See you as well, Susan. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. It has been an absolute blast. Don't forget, we go Sunday through Thursday. So one day of work, I'll be taking another 2 off. What's wrong with my life? I mean, other than the shunt and all, right? So we won't be here tomorrow and Saturday. We'll be back Sunday evening to launch the full week, and then we'll go back in. All kinds of news about 81 to win, how we're going to get to episode 400, all the rest of that. But thank you so very much for all of your support, not just this evening, but through the 24 hours as well. And we will look forward to seeing you Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, get out there and go be you.
IPMNation.com.